Yeah, please go ahead.
All right. Okay. So great. First of all, good morning to all of you. And thank you for choosing Early Rise for delivering this particular class on AWS Solution Architect Associate Level Program. So quickly talking about Early Rise as an organization. So Early Rise is one of the fastest growing education technology companies, which provides end-to-end learning solutions for the corporates and the academia. And as all of you would be aware, that Early Rise's one of the USPs is to provide an affordable learning solution in various niche categories of technology. For example, cloud computing, DevOps, fog computing, blockchain, big data, artificial intelligence, and data sciences, and other trending technologies as well. All the instructors that we have with us are highly experienced, and they are industry professionals also, and certified SMEs in their own area. And that actually helps them understand the business requirements and work closely with the customers to deliver their demands and the solutioning in a very, very highly and efficient way. So that's in brief about the company as such, Early Rise. So to quickly talk about this course, so Early Rise's certification training program in cloud computing, which is the AWS Solution Architect Associate level, is created keeping in view the industry experts' understanding of the requirements and the demands, right? So the entire course content for AWS is in line with the actual certification examination that we usually encourage all the participants to take up after this particular training program. And what it is going to do is going to help you to prepare for the actual certification examination as part of this training itself. And after the end of this particular training, towards the end rather, you will be able to effectively demonstrate your knowledge in the architecture and deployment of secure and robust applications on AWS. So that's the objective and the intent of this entire course that's been delivered through Early Rise. All right. Now to quickly introduce you to the instructor for this particular class. So we have got Harish, who is a highly versatile certified engineer and a cloud architect himself. He is certified on AWS and has close to, I would say, 20 plus experience industry in the IT organization as such. And his expertise comes from the areas of engineering as well as architecture for private, public, and hybrid clouds. So he has delivered lots of implementations in transformations and migration of large-scale data centers to AWS cloud as such. And Harish also comes with a lot of automation, disaster recovery, and virtualization experience in implementations of his cloud models. He also possesses a lot of knowledge in terms of the design, development, and the deployment of infrastructure using various open source tools and technologies. And Harish also comes with a very, very rich experience of DevOps, scripting, and configuration management tools that are prevalent in the industry today. And one of the expertise areas of Harish also includes designing cost-efficient, scalable models for high availability architectures, keeping in mind the highest security standards. And Harish also is very, very proficient in building employee skills critical to specific business models. So that's a brief summary about Harish as an instructor. So Harish, welcome to the class. And this batch would be very, very eager to work with you over the next few weekends in terms of learning about the AWS components end to end.
Yeah, thank you so much, Devashish, for all your help and support in starting the session.
You're welcome.
Yeah, please let me take care of the team. Right. So hi all. So we have what I have noted is we have. Let me share my screen.
Sure.
For doing certain hands-on and understanding about the certification exams, right? And in between, I'll be trying to explain things, and maybe I will be asking few questions. So the most important thing that my expectation from you is I would request all of you to pay utmost attention, right? So focus would be the key. Entire session, I would give you one word, and that is focus, right? So you just have to focus on one thing, right? Once you are focused, things are very easy, right? So let's begin our journey to cloud. And first thing first, so let's try to understand what is cloud computing, right? So few of you already have some basics, right? So maybe I would like to understand from you, right? What is your understanding about the cloud computing? So any one of you may, tell me about what is your understanding? Like, what do you think like cloud computing is? Anybody wants to try?
Storage of data at one robust place.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Anything?
Maybe to keep the infrastructure with someone else, and then focus mainly on the business logic. So
That's really great. Yeah.
so if you the machinery maintenance or machinery maintenance is given to someone, so we can mainly focus on the business part. And also if any upgrades or maintenance comes, that can be taken by the other parties.
Yes, perfect, perfect. So again, focus is the key here, right? Good. That's really good. So say like nowadays you might have noticed around you as compared to maybe 5 years down the line or 10 years ago, more than anything, if you try to understand about the innovation, right? The rate of innovation is fastest in today's day, right? So there are certain no challenges with the organization, right? So they have. Let me share my whiteboard. Can you see my whiteboard? It's visible to all.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So please let me know if I try to draw something here and if you can see, right? So you can see the line.
Yes.
Okay,
Blue one.
perfect, perfect. So I talk about the rate of innovation, right? It is so fast, right? So there is a pressure on one hand, right, to deliver new features to the end user, right? So one thing is to deliver new features to end users, right? And on other hand, right, you have to keep your technologies latest, right? So there are two things, right? And organizations have to balance between the two. Correct. So there is huge demand, for the innovation, and at the same time you have to keep your technologies latest. So, as it is told, so you have you need to focus on the business. You have to balance between these two things. So there are two competing priorities. One is the need to develop new capabilities on one hand, and the other hand, you have fear of risk, right? Fear of risk. What if we go to cloud? What about the security? What will happen? So there are two competing priorities. So today, if you just take any business magazine, right, and you'll find success stories of companies adopting latest technologies. For example, cloud learning, cloud computing, or machine learning, right, and artificial intelligence, IoT, serverless computing, blockchain, biometrics, robotics, virtual reality, and so on, right? So you hear like, okay, these organizations have invested in artificial intelligence. Now you read this success story about them, right? So simultaneously, companies are trying to adopt new ways to achieve and improve the quality and the agility, right? You must have heard about DevOps, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
You might have heard about DevOps. You might have heard about SAFe. Anyone? Scaled Agile Framework. Scaled Agile Framework. SRE. site reliability engineering. So these are the IT jargons, right? So you take anyone, each of these frameworks is designed to overcome specific set of problems, right? So when it comes to deliver cloud at large scale, we need to apply combination of tools, methodologies, and the best practices, right? So as of today, the biggest challenge is many IT people are not sufficiently skilled to take on these new roles in an effective way, right? So I would like to take this particular opportunity to appreciate each one of you as you have already started your journey towards solving this biggest challenge, right? So you are trying to enhance your skills. So you are trying to solve the biggest problem, right, for adopting cloud, correct? So now, so how I would consolidate, let's go back to slide. Yeah, so why we should move to cloud? So that's the next thing, right? Already we have done the introduction. We'll try to define. Once we understand why we need to go to cloud computing, what are the aspects, then we'll move on to define cloud, right? So one thing is like, the most important thing is about the capital expenditure, capex. Understand capex? Let me go back to whiteboard. So let me clear this. So something is called capex, and there is another thing called opex, right? So one thing is capital expenses, another thing is operational expenses, right? So cloud computing cuts out the high cost of hardware. So this capex, you can say like kind of no, you want to buy, right? You have to invest. If you want to rent, you don't have to invest. The capital expenditure, whatever, so that you can avoid. So this cloud comes with feature pay as you go, right? So you can have a subscription based model, and you can simply pay as you go, right? So it's costly to build and maintain data centers, right? If you try to build a data center, it's going to cost you crores of rupees, right? So maintaining an existing data center over the long term is expensive as well, right? So figuring out the capital cost of hosting your applications in the public cloud instead of running them in your own data center is sometimes characterized as renting. Clear, everyone?
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Apeksha and
Yeah.
Ranjita, all clear, right?
Yes. Yes.
So far,
Harish.
all of you are happy, right?
Yeah, yes, Harish.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, Harish.
So yeah, I want to make it interactive because you never know. Like there may be some network challenge, or no, there might be some issue with the system, or some kind of issue. So I just want to make sure that all of you are always there with me, right? So at any point of time, if you feel that you need a clarity on any topic which is part of the flow, right? So you are most welcome, right? If you feel that you have some question which is bigger and out of the context, so you may note it down, right? As and when it comes to your mind, please note it down in a notepad, right? See, I have a notepad. I have just kept it here, so I will park it. If you have any question which is out of the context, you can tell me. I can note it, I can park it, and towards the end of the session, at the end, maybe like another say like last 10-15 minutes, we can discuss those topics, right? And if it is something related to the ongoing topic, please feel free to ask me, right? So far what we are discussing is why we should move to cloud, right? Or in other words, like what is the benefit of moving to the cloud, right? So most important thing that we have discussed now is about it's free of capex. All agrees?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any confusion?
No.
No.
Okay, so please do not take it like it's cheaper, right, as compared to our legacy infrastructure. So I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying it's free of capital expenditure, right? Now, if you want it to make it cheaper as compared to your legacy infrastructure, then you have to be again focused, right? So let me make you clear here. These operational expenses, right? These operational expenses are still expensive, right? The reality is that the cost of running and hosting your application in the cloud is cheaper once you add in every expense. However, operating in the cloud is only cheaper, please pay your attention, if your services being hosted in the cloud are properly designed. I repeat, operating in the cloud is cheaper if your services being hosted in the cloud are properly designed, right? So if you do not design it properly, it's going to be what? It may be even costlier.
Yeah.
So here comes your skills, right? So here comes your skills. How much you know things, how well you can design things, you can make it cheaper. It will be cheaper. Obviously, it will be cheaper. However, it depends on your design, right? So services and applications, they do not run 24/7, right? They do not run 24/7. Correct? So they are turned off, or if it is not even turned off, maybe you can reduce the size when they're not in use. So public cloud providers use some automatic methods, right? Automated procedures, right? To manage, to build, to monitor, right? To scale, right? These cloud services. So it's automated. If it is automated, then you have a good night's sleep. If it is not automated, in the middle of night, you have to wake up. And you have to fulfill the demand. So for that reason, most of the big service providers, they are giving you the feature. So what you need to understand is cloud is just a collection of data centers. Cloud is just a collection of data centers. Now, there is no ownership from the customer's point of view. There is no ownership from the customer's point of view. The cloud provider owns the service, right? And what you do, you rent it. You rent the service. That's it. Whatever services you need, you rent only those. Right? So, am I making it clear, Vikas?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, and again, like you should not confuse this cloud with virtualization. We'll be discussing about virtualization, right? So, cloud is not all about virtual resources, right? If you go to AWS, you ask for bare metal servers, so they will give you. They'll be happy, right? So they can host your applications and databases on bare metal servers and in their data centers. So they'll be happy to come, to come to your, on premises, right? And they can help you there as well, right? So what I mean to say is they can allow you to continue to operate on your on premises data center and coexist with cloud resources and services operating at AWS also. So in other words, you can just understand like it can be an extension to your existing infrastructure. So whatever is already running in the legacy infrastructure, so they can provide an extension to that, so that you have the you have more elasticity, you have more agility, right? So I think I'm clear with this, right? So as one of you told that it will allow us to focus on things that really matters, right? Like growing your own business. So you are focused. Who told that? I just missed the name. Sorry.
Sai,
Right? Yeah, Sai. So what you told is exactly the most important thing, because see, you have come here to do the business. You have not come here to purchase the hard disk, right? So it's like maintaining your infrastructure, focusing on the technology. Every day it is becoming every 2 to 3 years it will become obsolete, and then you have to purchase new one and like so forth. So so it's just about focusing on your own business, right? So what I will do here, I will try to clear the screen. So maybe you want to note anything. So if you want to note anything, it's fine. If you are like because internet is full of information, right? And you can definitely find information there, right? And these are certain basic things which if you understand, so that will retain. You can retain it, right? So if you want to note it, few keywords or something, so maybe you can note it, and later you can try to relate more on this, right? So can I rub this one?
Yeah, yes, Hari.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the second region, second thing, right? So I would like any one of you, right, to tell any other point why we should move to cloud. So one point that we discussed is it's free of capital expenses, right? So another thing, right, I would request you to tell. Maybe you can tell the points. I can try to note it down.
So it's kind of you have one terminal, you have one server and multiple terminals without installing each software on each terminal. That's what I understood.
That would be on the need basis, right? Because on what you need on which server, so it will be based on that, right? So you are kind of talking about some kind of collaboration or something.
No, what you have one server.
You are talking about virtualization.
Oh, that comes under virtualization. No, I just understood what you said till now, and I made up this thing.
Okay. So fine, that we'll discuss. Yeah. So kind of no, you are talking about abstraction.
Okay.
You are talking about abstraction. Yeah. So fine. So you are talking about abstraction. So we'll discuss on abstraction. No, not an issue. So like, do you think that cloud is flexible?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
sir.
can rent out what all services you require or you don't want, so it's flexible.
Okay. So let's take Flexibility. Flexibility as the second point, right?
Okay.
So what is the need? It should be according to the need of the end user, right? Need of the organization, right? So it is best suited for businesses, right, which have fluctuating demand or the growing bandwidth demands. Okay, so if you need, say, like if you need to increase the capacity, say like compute capacity or storage capacity, right, or whatever, cloud is much more flexible as compared to legacy infrastructure, right? Say like if you want to scale up, right? So I will be using certain terms, say like scale up. You can delete it. It would be literal, right? And again, it will have technical meaning as well, right? So something like scale up or scale down, right? So these kind of terms we will use. So if something that you can say like what is flexible? Flexible means you can scale it up and you can scale it down, right? So you just so this is flexible. So say like you need to scale up your compute capacity or storage capacity or whatever, or your horizontal scaling if you want to do, number of servers if you want to increase, right, or vertical scaling you want to do, right, you want to increase the capacity of one particular server, right? So it gives you a great flexibility or the level of agility, right? So this is one of the most important region for which people are adopting cloud. Most important region in day to day, people like you all are working in IT, and if you are associated with infrastructure, then you must have seen like one how much difficult it is when the customer comes and asks for, say like I need to increase the hard disk by say like 500 GB. Lot of processes involved, correct? So lot of challenges there. Maybe you need to purchase another one hard disk. You have to go to account team and get the purchase order, and you have to follow all the process, and you need to purchase something, and then you need to add it to your data center. So this is like cloud is much more flexible. So this is one thing. Now let's discuss about DR. All of you are familiar with this word?
No.
DR. So DR is disaster recovery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, disaster recovery, right? So businesses of all sizes, right, should be investing in very robust disaster recovery, right? But for smaller businesses, they lack the required what? Cash. What it requires? Cash and expertise, right? So any one of you can tell what is disaster recovery? Because maybe you can try.
Yeah, I mean, so in our system, mainframe, what we have is we have one production server and one disaster recovery server, two servers,
Yeah.
and whenever there are any calamities like tsunami or earthquake in where we have placed the production server, we can always reroute to disaster recovery and get the latest information. So
Perfect.
it's kind of a backup of what production server has.
Perfect. Because so you all understood what is disaster recovery?
No,
Yes,
actually,
Harish.
no. I didn't understand like what is that exactly.
Okay. So disaster, you understand disaster? What is disaster? Disaster, the word disaster?
criticality maybe.
Disaster means what? Some calamity, some no, some issue, some accidental situation where your server is gone.
Okay.
Say like some disaster happens, some earthquake happens, some flood comes, right? Some war happens, right? Some problem happens, some no, fire issue happens. Something happens and the server is gone, or maybe the entire data center is gone, right? That is like no disaster. In case of disaster, all your data is kept in the server and the server is gone. What now? You will stop the business and that's it. Say like you have $1 million company, and now because of disaster, all your systems were no, because data only is money nowadays, and all data, everything is gone. That means business is stopped. That's it. You have to begin from the scratch. You don't know anything. Who is your end user? What you have been doing so far? Who all are working for you? All data gone with the server. That's it. You can't afford to do that, right? So you need to recover in the situation of a disaster, in the situation of a calamity, in the situation of an accident, or whatever. No, worst scenario comes when your server and the data center and the infrastructure, it is gone. So in that case, how do you recover? How quickly you can recover? That is disaster recovery, right? So do you think this is important? You should invest in that?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So now, right, so say like a large organization, as Vikas already just now said that he has 2 servers. For one production server, he has 1 more server in different data center, in different physical location, right? So that one server goes in the production data center. So in the other data center, which is in other location, other region, right? So he will bring the services up there. He might have automated it, right? Or he will just bring it up manually, maybe in 5 minutes or maybe in 15 minutes, depends how he has configured his DR. So businesses, the big businesses, right? They will have very robust disaster recovery systems, very robust, because they have money. For each system in the production data center, you have one DR which is of no use until and unless there is a disaster, and disaster is not guaranteed, right? So your money is blocked. Your money is blocked in investing and maintaining one data center or maintaining one server or whatever, right? So now, what about small organizations? What about medium organizations? How much they can do about the disaster recovery, right? So it's really very challenging. What does it require? 2 things. One thing is cash. And what is another thing? Skill. So small organizations who are focused on their own small business, are they skilled to do this? So they have to invest again. Again, there will be cost involved, and that will be very challenging for them to invest in disaster recovery, right? Right. So because of this reason, if you look at the trend of cloud adoption, small businesses are twice as likely as larger companies to have implemented cloud-based backup and recovery solutions, right? So what does it do? How does it help them in recovering their servers, right? It saves their time, right? And it saves again the capital expenses. They don't have to pay, they don't have to invest upfront, right? And they can utilize the benefit from the service provider. All of you are on the same page, this DR?
Yeah.
Yeah, Harish.
Yeah. So any point of time, if you feel like you need more explanation, please stop me. I'll be more than happy to clarify your doubt. Say like we go to the think about next topic. Remember why we are trying to move to the cloud, why we should move to the cloud. Very important thing. Why? You are doing something. Why? If you don't know, it's not making any sense. Whatever you are doing. So you need to know why you should. Once you know why, then automatically you will. So another thing would be you must be facing some challenges in software updates. Software updates. Everyone are aware of the software updates, whether it is desktop or laptop or server or whatever mainframe. Everywhere you need to update your software, right?
Yeah.
Now, this requires skills and efforts, and it's a big challenge. If you are not up to date, your compliance team, your security team, they will raise some kind of NCI, or they will raise some kind of issue, concern that your software is not up to date. There is a security breach. There is a problem, right? So what happens in the cloud? It's what? Automatic. Yeah, it's automatic. Just think.
But how the cost, Harish, if for the latest software, if there is a cost involved, how is it taken care?
So you need to configure it. Say like your
Okay.
operating system, right? You have the subscription for your operating system. Say like you have purchased maybe Red Hat operating system, or you have say like SUSE operating system or Windows or whatever. So now that you have already the license, right, for the operating system, right? So there, what will happen? You have already the license, right? So you have to invest in anybody from knows about satellite server here? Red Hat satellite?
No.
No? Anybody from Linux background? Okay, so just I will try to tell, say like you have a satellite server, right? So you invest in, say like now you have a Red Hat portal, right? From there, they will release patches in the portal. You have the license for your server, Linux server. So they have released some patches. You are already authorized, right, to take that. So in that case, if it is automatic, it's good for you. Otherwise, each and every server you have to log in and pull the patches, right? And you need to involve a lot of process for that. You should go through the change management process. Once you do the patching, there will be some incident because you have installed the server and maybe not rebooted, or you have rebooted and the server is not coming up, right? Or so likely you may end up too much spending in the resources, human resources, right? And also on your focus would be like you again cannot focus. You will whatever is your focus business goal, so you are not aligned to that now. So here what will happen? Automatically those softwares, whatever you have configured and whatever you are authorized, those software updates will happen automatically, and they are responsible for that. If any problem happens and if any issue happens or whatever, right? So they will take care of it, right? So what is the beauty of cloud computing? Your servers are off premise. I'm telling again and again, like some few terms I'm using. If you find it difficult, then please let me know. On premise and off premise. Everyone understand?
Yeah.
Ranjita, Urvashi.
Yeah.
On premise, off premise.
Yeah.
Understand, right?
Yep.
So your servers are off premises, right? So your servers are off premise. So just think like out of sight, out of mind. So you don't have to think about them. They are off premises. Forget them. Don't have to worry about them. Anyways, you are renting, right? So everything is managed by them. Softwares are updated automatically by them, right? So what happens there? Security updates, most critical updates. You don't have to worry about wasting any time in maintaining the system yourself, right? So again, you can focus on your business, right? Instead of focusing on technology, focus on your business. So may I clear the board?
Sure, Harish.
Okay, thank you. So let's discuss more. If any point of time if it becomes monotonous or boring, please stop me, right? I want to make it more interactive, right? So please stop me. We can do some practicals or we can do something else. You find something is boring. So let me just quickly explain you why we should move to cloud. First thing is why. So increased. Just think of collaboration. I have to change the settings because automatically it is changing. Okay, let's see. Okay, so if I talk about collaboration, what is your opinion about collaboration here? You have more collaboration in cloud? Collaboration, you understand? So I would say like increased collaboration in cloud. So please tell me like, see, first thing, right? First thing to know something is to know that we are aware or not. If we are not aware, and if we are confident enough to say that we are not aware, that is the last moment, right, where all the doubts will go and awareness will come. So please feel free to speak. There is nothing to feel like shy or nothing. If you even a very small thing, if you don't know, please tell. If you know or don't know, doesn't matter. You are not going to be harmed by saying that you don't know. If you know or don't know, if you don't know, you tell me, right? That's it. Next moment you know it, correct? So anyone, please feel free to speak out.
See, collaboration in the sense it's like, when it's a group and two or more people work together, right?
Yes, yes, that's very right.
So in cloud, it is like we can increase the collaboration in the sense how it could be.
Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. So this is what I wanted. So this is the right question, right? And of course, questions cannot be right or wrong. Answers can be wrong or right. Questions cannot be wrong or right. So feel free to ask questions. Okay. So here, say like your teams can access, edit, share the document anytime, whether it is day or night, from anywhere, from India or US, right? They are able to do, right, it better, and they are able to do it together. At the same time, you can access a document. At the same time, there's some other, your counterpart who is working in US, they can see what you have done, right? How much you have done. You don't have to wake up in the middle of night to just set up a meeting with your counterpart in US, right? Because of their different time zone, and explain that what you have done, and you email them the your work or something like that. So you just nowadays all of you must be using some kind of Google Drive or some kind of box or some kind of central location or some kind of stuffs where you are keeping things, right, and collaborating with your other team members, right, where you are simply keeping the document. You have done your work, you have kept the document somewhere, and you went for a sleep, and the other person can come and see that what you have done, and he can continue from there, right? Am I clear? Am I
Yes.
clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm talking about in one central place, right? You are keeping your work, right? And it is getting accessed from different places. People are collaborating, right? So that kind of collaboration. And of course, you see this Microsoft whiteboard I'm using, right? So again, collaborating with you all, right? This is in the cloud.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd say I'll move to next point, right? So I would say something. Can I say work from home? Is it making sense? Especially in today's scenario,
Yeah.
correct? So I intend to say that work from anywhere, right? Work from anywhere, right? You can work from anywhere. What you need? Internet connection, right? That's it. You just need an internet connection. You work from anywhere. Doesn't matter. You don't have to go to office, right? So, or maybe you don't have to go to some other city. So even you can use your mobile nowadays. Most of the service providers are into mobility, so they will give you mobile applications. So you can simply use mobile applications. Say like some features that they used to offer earlier, maybe in their system. So now you can do the same thing using your mobile. So this is possible because of cloud, right? So one most important thing comes from here, right? So I would like to focus that here. So that I would say work-life balance. If you all agree, just let me know.
Yes.
It's important, right?
Yes.
This is important, right? So you just think how cloud is giving you benefit, how cloud is important, right? And why you should move to cloud, right? For the people, they are a lot of traffic on the road, lot of problems, right? They have to commute every day for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, right? So for those people, right, this cloud, right, gives an option, right, for balancing the life, maybe in adverse situation, or maybe in even like this kind of situation now, in this uncertain situation, right, this COVID situation, this is a boon, right? So people who have been on cloud, they are benefiting like anything in this situation. And people who have only the traditional data centers are facing the challenges, right? So let me clear the canvas. May I?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Harish,
Yeah,
I
please.
have one
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, please.
So, what will be the difference in the traditional data center when it compared to cloud? You're telling that our traditional data center is having some challenges when it comes to work-life
Correct.
work-life balance and work from anywhere, right?
Yes.
So anyhow, we can connect from anywhere, right, to the data center now also.
Traditional data center, no, it is like how you connect to the traditional data center, the way you connect to the traditional data center. Here also you have data center. This is also cloud data center. However, No, how you connect is important. Can you connect to traditional data center using a mobile application? Do you have an app? Did you think of any app earlier?
No.
Correct, no? So
Yeah.
you are connecting to say like say like some bank using your app. You don't have to go to a system and log in, right? So if you just understand how easy it has become, the way you are connecting has changed. That is what cloud is all about.
Okay.
And anyways, like we'll be discussing traditional data center in detail, right? So I'll note it, right? I'll note this traditional data center versus cloud, right? So I'll just note this point. We'll discuss in detail on this. Perfect. Okay, so let's move to next point. So already we discussed collaboration. So this is an extension to the same thing. So it's control over the document. Clear? Document control, you can have, you can collaborate with the customer, you can collaborate with other team members, right? So earlier you had to send the file back and forth, right? As email attachment.
Okay.
Say like you did something on the document, now you email to some person, now that person has made some other changes and emailed you back. Now, as we discussed about collaboration, right? Even the smallest companies, right, are becoming more global, right? And because of that, scope of these complication has risen, right? So according to one study, 73% of knowledge workers collaborate with people in different time zones and different physical regions at least every month. 73% of people, 73% of knowledge workers collaborate. So because of this cloud, it's very easy for you to collaborate and have a control over your documents. So in due course we'll see we'll see about concept of storage, S3 storage, and we'll discuss about the version control as well. We'll have a different version. See what if you are making some changes and other person deletes it, or if you are making some changes, other person uploads some other version. So what will happen to your changes? How do you know that what he had changed, right? So you can just understand it's like you have greater visibility, right? So central location, your documents will be there and you'll have more visibility. So you have more control over the document, right? So this is more about related to collaboration. Fine. Now, can we discuss the important aspect? What do you think? Does cloud give you benefit from the security point of view? So all of you have company provided laptops. They have given you laptop to work from home or from anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you storing data in your laptop? The organization's data or customer data?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No.
No?
No.
Then where do you store the data?
No, I connect to their system, so I'll store it in their server.
Okay, perfect. So any data which is important in your laptop, say like your laptop is lost.
Okay.
Lost laptop.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah. In IBM we have that Watson, so it's mandate for everyone to have a backup there.
Okay, perfect. So are they storing in cloud?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you see here, no, the benefit. You see here the benefit. If you are storing billion-dollar data in your laptop and you are moving around with your laptop, right? And you lose your laptop, just think, right? So why you store in cloud is this reason only. It gives you a security and peace of mind, right? If you lose, right, your system, right, or any problem happens there, right, or maybe laptop only, hard disk only crashes completely, that it cannot be recovered only, right? So data is the most important thing here. So you lose your laptop or by whatever reasons, right? So you are in loss. But if it is stored in cloud, whatever happens to the laptop, whatever happens to your machine, right, doesn't matter. Correct? So all are clear here. Security point of view, it's better.
Yeah.
We should have cloud. We should have cloud to store our data, right? To safeguard our data, right? Okay. What about competition? I would say like competitiveness. Competitiveness for the business. Do you think people who are businesses who are using cloud are more competitive?
Maybe.
See, there is one very big organization, right? And they are into one very big organization and one small organization. These two are in the same business. Okay. Just think of traditional situation where you have to build your data center and you have to own it and you have to take care of it, maintain it, and do everything. So anyways, it will be difficult for this particular small organization. So do you think this small organization can compete with this big organization? No, right? No. In traditional legacy environment, that situation when there is no cloud, they cannot. But now they can. They can do business better than the bigger organization. You know how? Because if the bigger organization is not adopting cloud, right, they are simply investing in people and no, in their infrastructure, right? They are throwing the older servers and purchasing newer ones, right? And then they have people to manage it and the challenges and everything. They are focusing there, and this small organization is focusing only on the business, and it gets the better technology, far better technology as compared to that bigger organization, bigger company, right? And it is in cloud. So it gives a real challenge to the big business, right? Because of pay as you go service. You simply earn and you pay. So even these smaller organizations, these startups, they can grow much bigger, right, in due course, give a good competition to the bigger businesses, right? So pay as you go service and cloud business application means small organizations can run with these bigger ones. They can disrupt the market, right? And while remaining the small, while without growing their size, there is something called lean, right? So they will remain lean and they will focus on their business. So competitiveness can increase if you go to cloud. Last but not the least, we talk about environment. We talk about environment. So I would say like, no, it would be environment friendly. Can you think how? How it is environment friendly? Carbon footprint. You know, say
Okay.
like you need scalability. You need like say like today if you are going to purchase one server, right? So you will think about next 5 years, right? Not about today's workload.
Yeah.
So whatever you need, say like you need one server for your business, you'll purchase 5 servers. Correct? Now, in order to manage your headroom, you need some headroom. So you will go for bigger server, maybe like more CPUs, more so more equipments for to support that, more cooling mechanisms. So everything if you add to your data center, it will generate more heat, correct? And it will consume more power. So if you are wasting more energy, right?
Yeah.
You are leaving more carbon footprints. So if it's just like you understand like carpooling we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we do, is it you take your own car to go to office alone, or if 4 people are there in your locality and all of you are going together one day, one person is taking the car. So if one person is going and taking the other 3 to the office, say like you are doing something which is environment friendly, right? So you are consuming less energy, leaving less carbon footprint. Similarly, in your data center, just to manage the headroom, the capacity, right? Higher, you keep higher capacity for maintaining your future business needs. So that problem is not there in the cloud. What you need, you consume that much only, right? So it is resources are pooled here, right? And many people will be doing pooling here. Many people will be using the resources, right? So what happens is you are having only what you are using. Understand like that. You are having only what you need. Tomorrow you need something, you just take more. You don't have to worry about scalability.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So this cloud is more environment friendly as compared to legacy infrastructure, legacy data center. Fine. So that was very exhaustive, detailed discussion on why we should move to the cloud. Shall I clear this?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So I wanted you all to understand once you have the foundation, so it will be better for future. You will understand, you can relate why you are doing it, and whatever you are doing is like how it is important for you, right? So, and for the environment, for the your organization, right, for everyone's success. So that's it. So let's see what is next. So we have covered what is why cloud computing, right? So essential characteristics, right? So what we have covered is why cloud computing. Now you look at the essential characteristics of cloud computing. Please let me know if you can relate to the word on-demand self-service. By the word, lot of things you'll see here. Simply try to get the literal meaning, and then you can try to relate. Most of the time you'll be right, most of the time. So on demand, as per the demand. Self-service, please do it yourself. Okay. So it should be on demand. It should not be like other way around. In traditional data center, is it on demand?
No, you will purchase it on hand, prior to your needs.
Correct. You even like maybe 2 years before, and you are purchasing things and keeping, right? So it's not on demand. And is it self-service? Say like your customer, right? They need something. You are having a traditional data center, and they need some. Suddenly, they found that okay, one particular hard disk is full, file system is full, and there is no disk attached to the server. What now? Can they do it themselves? No, right?
No, no.
They need to raise some RFS, right? Request for service. They have to discuss, they have to request. You need to go through some process, some change process, something. It will take 15 days, right? So that's it. Their business is impacted only. So here it's like so in advance only they will purchase 5 terabyte of hard disk and they will keep it, right? So that won't be on demand, that won't be self-service, right? So here you can understand like cloud services are available 24 hours a day, right? From anywhere, right? Just you need a internet connection. Just you need an internet connection, right? So here the service, the cloud service should be delivered quickly, and it should be delivered based on your demand. So all the cloud providers, we'll see very soon about AWS, they will give you self-service portal, right? And you request for a cloud service and the next minute it's there with you. Okay, so you don't have to keep on sending emails and reminders and a lot of challenges. You don't have to do that. So say like you need some kind of a virtual machine, right? You simply do it. You click it and it will happen, right? So this is what about on-demand self-service. So any confusion on this on-demand self-service? We'll see. Practically, we'll be seeing how we demand and how we do it, how we serve ourselves. Okay. Any confusion? Anyone? Sai, you are there with us?
Yeah, Harish.
Okay. Ranjita, Urvashi.
Yeah, yes, Harish.
Okay. Apeksha.
Yeah, yes, Harish.
Okay. So perfect. So you all understand what is on-demand self-service? What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So broad network access. Understand that? What do you mean by broad network access? Literal meaning.
Can be accessed from anywhere. Something like that.
Yes. Yes. Access from anywhere. Very good. And accessed from any type of device. Sai, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were asking no earlier. So this one you can relate.
Okay.
Broad network access also means here the cloud services can be accessed from any type of device, which is not the case in traditional data center, right? So let it be a desktop machine or a laptop machine or a mobile, right? Or let it be a tablet or a smartphone or whatever. So you have broad network access from anywhere, right? You remember the first slide? You see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the perfect thing, the most essential, you can say, like features. These are the 5 most essential features, right, of cloud computing. One is on-demand self-service, another one is broad network access, right? So it can be accessed from anywhere across the globe just using the internet All data centers will not be connected to internet at all times, right? If your host application, if you are hosting some application on AWS, right? Say like most probably say like SaaS applications. So very soon we will be discussing about SaaS, right? So kind of say like public facing application you are having, right? So we are talking in that scenario, right? So when we are talking about these essential characteristics, right? So we are not talking about all the scenarios. So there will be different scenarios, there will be different use cases, right? Where some of the features may not be, may not be making sense actually. That may not be needed, right? Some secure thing is there which you don't want to be accessed from each and every device or something. So you just don't do it. And say like some kind of particular network you are having, say like private network is there. So we'll be discussing about public and private and different type of cloud models, right? But what I'm talking here is essential from the point of view of the word cloud. Where they say cloud, first thing comes to our mind is public cloud. The word cloud has become synonymous to public cloud. Cloud. Oh, we are in cloud. Okay. So do you have an app for that? Yeah. One app is there. Please download. Okay. So you think like that. So now it can have the broad network access. Right? So AWS, if you talk about AWS, they will provide you say like some kind of HTTPS endpoints to access every cloud service hosted at AWS, right? So some HTTPS secure endpoints will be there, right? So you may not want this broad network access, right? Because it's like public network access it will become, right? So it depends on the situation, right? So we'll be discussing the use cases. So just think of resource pooling. Just now we touched this point, resource pooling, while we were discussing, right? We tried to touch this point. Resource carpooling we discussed, right?
Yeah.
Similar to that. So cloud provider would acquire, right, and maintain all computing hardware on which cloud services would be running, right? So they will pool the resources. They will collect and keep the resources in a place, right, in their data center, right? So what happens is infrastructure resources for public cloud providers are pooled together, right, in many data centers across the different regions, and availability zones. We'll be coming to understand about few keywords, right, which are specific to AWS. So I have started using some of the words, right? You might find that, okay, what is availability zone he's saying, region he is saying, he's not telling the country or some other physical location or something. So there will be certain keywords associated with AWS only, right? We'll be discussing each and every keyword, right? And I'll make sure that you have complete understanding of AWS, right, based on our curriculum, right? So you understand what is resource pooling? All the resources, right, are pooled by whom? By the service provider. Where? In their data centers. In one data center? No, across multiple data centers, right? Right. So say like if a company is running on-premise private cloud. Now I started using term like on-premise, right? So on-premise, you understand on-premise. Say like a company running an on-premise private cloud would pool its virtual machines, right? Processing units, memory, right? There some kind of networking capabilities into one or two data centers. From its own pool, they will offer limited compute resources. if a company is running on on-premise private cloud, say like all these public cloud providers have a massive pool of resources to serve different needs of different customers, right? So AWS has clusters of data centers, right? That is called availability zones. That is called availability zones. And these availability zones could have lakhs of bare metal servers available and online, allowing the customers to do whatever they need there, whatever business, whatever application they want to run, right? They can use it on demand with high level of what? Redundancy, resiliency, and failover. Those capabilities will be there. So it's not like no one resource you are utilizing and no that something happened and power is gone and you can no longer no access it. It's not like that. So it's like they will have a massive pool of resources, lakhs of servers they may be keeping in one data center and multiple availability zones, right? It would be massive, right? Huge, and you don't have to worry about it. Simply you have to use it, right? So many resources will be available, and because of that reason, just understand, when the resources are pooled, whenever there is a concept of pooling, it comes to environment and it also comes to cost. In our example earlier, when we were discussing about carpooling, we talked about carbon footprints, but we did not talk about reduction in the cost. You all agree? If you do a pooling, cost can be reduced?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Purvashi?
Yes, yes.
Correct? So whenever there is pooling, cost can be brought down, right? Perfect. So we'll be taking we'll be doing some hands-on, and we'll be seeing learning about S3 storage, right? Which is unlimited. There is no defined maximum limit for it. Say like you got AWS S3 storage, right? And you simply start putting your files. You don't have to worry about what is the size that you have got, right? And how much you are that size you will need after say like 6 months or 1 year or whatever, right? Okay, so I'm clear. I'm about resource pooling.
Yeah.
Because these things are essential, so I am just I want you all to understand it. Otherwise, whatever you will do, these things are foundation actually. So if the foundation is strong, right, the building will be strong. So if you can justify the need of cloud, and if you can justify what is the basic thing for cloud, right, what are the essential characteristics for the cloud, you will appreciate it. Once you appreciate it, you will try to get into it, right? Then that is the beginning of the journey, right? So I'm focusing on these essential things, so please pay your attention and just look at the fourth essential characteristics: rapid elasticity. So again, the word rapid means quick, and elasticity means the flexibility, right?
Yeah.
To scale out or scale in, both ways, increase it or decrease it, the capacity, right? Sai,
Yeah, Harish.
you understand rapid elasticity?
Yeah, Harish.
So rapidly you can provision. All are familiar with the word provision? IT jargon again, right? Or maybe like normal word only, right? Provision stores are there, right? Provision means making something available, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
talk about provisioning, or again I talk about one word, deprovisioning. Provisioning or deprovisioning. Provisioning means what? Adding resources. Provisioning resources means adding resources. Deprovisioning resources means removing resources or services. Whether it is resource or service, you can provision it, you can deprovision it. Means you can add it, you can remove it. You want it now or you want it later. Whenever you wish at any point of time, right? You can provision it, you can deprovision it, and create one EC2 instance, you can delete it right there. You can create two again as and when you wish, up to you. You want hundreds of EC2 instances? Please feel free to get hundreds of EC2 instances, right? So whatever. And next moment you don't want any, terminate all of them, right? So this is rapid elasticity, and it should not take much time. It should not take a day. It should be in minutes. That is rapid, right? So you can, this is what the meaning of rapid elasticity. So this is one of the most important essential characteristics, a key feature, because if elasticity is not there, there is no logic of having cloud. Elasticity is most important I would say, right? So so again I have touched upon certain points, some keywords. If you are not familiar, please ask me. Scaling, I'm saying again, scaling. So we'll be discussing about scaling again, some kind of horizontal scaling, some vertical scaling, scaling out, scaling in, lot of terms, just as the word, whatever is the literal meaning of the word, please go with that as of now. Okay. So what do you mean? Turning off the virtual server means what? Deprovisioning or provisioning? Ranjita.
It is deprovision.
Very good.
Turning off.
Correct. Say like adding RAM, Urvashi, adding RAM, provisioning or deprovisioning?
Sorry?
Adding of RAM, memory, adding memory, adding extra memory to your server, it's provisioning or deprovisioning?
It's a deprovisioning.
No,
Okay.
adding something means provisioning. Okay, so adding a resource or service means you are making it available. The meaning of the word provision means making something available. Okay, so provisioning a server, we say, provisioning a virtual machine, provisioning a resource, provisioning CPU, provisioning some kind of RAM, or provisioning a virtual machine or whatever. So provisioning means adding. Okay, deprovisioning means removing. Deprovisioning means removing. Okay, so it depends. You can provision it, you can deprovision it, you can scale out, you can scale in, right? So this is the elasticity, right? This is the elasticity, and that is also rapid elasticity. So rapid elasticity based on demand, right, is only possible with real-time monitoring, right? Real-time monitoring. There must be some kind of monitoring. If you don't know, then how do you add RAM?
Yes.
So there will be, you have option for real-time monitoring. What is going on? You will get an alert immediately. Now you are having this much of space left or something. Now you please click it, or you automate it. You don't have to go and click it. You automate it. Okay, fine. When I have these 3 instances running, doing some particular hosting some application, and some users are there, they are using the compute resources extensively, and suddenly there is a need for one more instance, or I'm saying the word instance means virtual machine. Okay, so I'll be saying instance. Instance means virtual machine in AWS. So you want one more additional server. So you don't have to even know. You have to go and provision one server for that business. You don't have to do that. Simply it will happen. You just configure it that way, right? So you design things in that way that it will automatically, it will be doing real-time monitoring itself, and it will drive the automated scaling. So scaling are the older things. Now scaling automatically. That is the latest thing. So it should happen automatically. Just think of an example here. I'll take a minute. So you all are aware of this IRCTC portal, IRCTC railway reservation.
Yeah.
What happens at around 8 o'clock? Nowadays, I'm not familiar whether 8 o'clock or 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Whenever they open the reservation thing, right? Right? Anybody used it recently?
No.
Whenever the reservation counter opens, right? For this particular Tatkal reservation or something, correct? So, what will happen at that time? People will be waiting from their mobile, from the laptop, even from the counter, railway reservation counter, that person, reservation clerk, he will be accessing here, there, window opens there, and people start reserving their train reservation, right? So all the things will happen at one time. So lakhs of people from throughout the country, right? They will be trying to access the portal and get their reservation, because if they don't do it right that time, their seats will go. Correct?
Yeah.
So you can understand the pressure that time and the
Yes.
resources, right? So now think about 2 o'clock in the midnight. There will be hardly anybody who is trying to do the reservation, right? So now at a particular time, right, there might be a huge need for the resources. Now at that time, sometimes earlier days, you might have been noticing that the site itself is not responding, right? The site is crashing, you are not able to do the reservation, some kind of challenges or something. So they went on cloud and they started using the feature of this automated elasticity, right? And at that time, say like, now usually they have say like 10 servers. At that particular moment, it will become 1000 servers for 2 hours, only for 2 hours. Think, if they have to go for the legacy data center, how many servers they need to purchase? 1000 servers, right or wrong? Because they want to use those 1000 servers only for 2 hours. But what about that 2 hours? If they have only one server or 5 servers or something, with that entire day they can manage, whole day and night. But for those 2 hours, they need 1000 servers. But in case of traditional situation, they have to go for their own data center, then they have to purchase 1000 servers and keep it. Think of the energy consumption, right? Think of the cost involved in the maintenance, right? And the capital expenses, right? And again, today it is 1000 server, tomorrow it might become 1500 servers, right? So all those things, and then again about the broad network access, the application, and this lot of other features. So all those things may not be possible, right? So this is rapid elasticity and automatic scaling. Automatically it will be scaled based on the need, and after 2 hours, that 1000 server will come down again to 10 servers. All other servers will be terminated. That's it. All the computing resources will be released. Am I clear?
Yeah.
Clear on this topic, rapid
Yeah.
elasticity?
Yeah.
Yes, Harish.
Okay, perfect. So let's discuss about measured service. Again, as the name suggests, metered service or measured service. Somewhere you'll see like metered service.
So you
What is
will be
metered?
billed only for what services you are using. Is that
Correct. 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 All are clear on this measured service? Subscription fee will be there and plus per use billing. You pay for the subscription, if any, there may not be any. You pay for the subscription and you pay for the particular billing model, whatever is the billing model for that particular resource. You pay only for the use. You use for 2 hours, you pay only for 2 hours, right? Use for a minute, you pay for a minute. If you don't use, you don't pay, right? If you know, whatever, up to you. So kind of electricity, how electricity is supplied to our home.
Yeah.
Meter is there, no? Electricity meter.
Mhm.
So simply, electricity, whatever you want to pull, you please pull, purchase one device or something and you pull the electricity from there. Simply some bill will come based on the utilization, right? And you can pay that based on your use, right? So if you don't pay, if you don't use, say like switch off completely all the equipments and everything, then what do you need to pay? Some
Just the subscription fee.
subscription fee, yeah, the nominal fee, that is only subscription fee. Some kind of rental or something. So
Yeah.
some basic thing only you have to pay. So you have the storage space and bandwidth. So how much storage space you are using, how much bandwidth you are using. So there can be different billing models, right? So all depends on that. So what I conclude here with measured services, you are only billed for what you use, right? And it's defined as a measured service. Measured service means you are billed only for what you use, right? Fine. So this is how they make money. They also have to make money, right? So they make money by charging for everything that you use in their data centers. Even for data transfer, right? They can charge you. So you need to know. Knowledge is the key there. You need to know, right? Awareness is important there. So if you are not sure if they will charge for data transfer and you keep on transferring huge data, you get a big bill at the end of the month, right? So packet flow, right? The normal inbound to public cloud is usually free. Outbound packet flow or traffic between subnets hosted in different data centers is usually charged, right? Some outbound data transfer fee would be there, right? So charges are usually based on per second or maybe based on per minute, right? And say like you have EC2 instance, right? So maybe we'll be discussing about each and every resources, so we'll have more clarity on that, right? So what kind of situation, in what kind of situation, how much you need to pay for the transfer of the data, or for keep using the storage devices like S3 or some kind of EBS elastic block storage we'll discuss about, right? So for they will charge you for storage and for data center, right? And for that what do you call data transfer. So data transfer, storage, and maybe compute, right? So just be familiar with the term compute. You understand compute, everyone?
Mhm.
Urvashi? Compute.
Yes, yes. Compute.
So what do you mean? Compute. Compute, meaning of compute in cloud. Just try in whatever way you understand. Doesn't matter if you say wrong or right. Doesn't no. Please feel free to say whatever you can understand.
Like we compute all the, I mean, computing, like cloud computing. It's
Compute comes from the word what? Computing only, right? Computer, computing, computation, right?
yeah, and what we do on a daily basis, like we, I don't know how to say it. I mean, you can explain it.
Sure. So computing means usually, here in cloud computing when we are discussing, so frequently, this term will come, the compute in case of server, in case of data center, in case of cloud computing, right? So where infrastructure and resources are constructed to handle the compute intensive application. Compute means here the capacity, the CPU and the memory, right? So compute, who will do the computation in a system, in a server? CPU will do it, right?
Yes.
So the processing capacity, how much you can do the calculation, how much you can do the computing, how much you can do the computation, what do you call computation, or something like that. So
IO
what?
processes.
Yeah. So you can just like think like there is a process, there is a service which requires more CPU. Then we say that it requires more compute capacity. Then we say compute intensive program, compute intensive something. So you know might be like some need to do some gaming, playing some game. If computing capacity is less, there will be lag, latency. No, there will be lag, right? So you need higher compute capacity there so that there is no lag, no slowness, right? So compute means, right? What? Now what you understood? Compute means CPU and memory,
Memory.
right? So compute means mainly the calculating capacity. Who will do? CPU, correct? Correct. So who are the partners of compute? Compute means CPU. If you say compute means processing capability, then who are the other partners of compute who will help in computation?
RAM.
Storage, network, IO, right? So when it comes to performance issue or something on the server, right? So what all things we check? The processing capacity, the compute, right? How much is the memory, right? And we check about whether storage is full or what, right? And what we check? Network, the Ethernet card or the router or switches or something. Is there any high utilization of any of the resources, right? Any of the network resources highly utilized or something, or the IO. IO means input output, right?
Input output.
Yeah. So through the channel, whatever cables, what is the level of input output, right? So that also we consider. So those are the partners of compute, right? So fine. Sai, you are there with us on the same page?
Yeah. Yes, Harish.
So any confusion here?
No, Harish.
So we are talking about compute, right? So we are talking about compute means what?
CPU,
Yes,
RAM,
CPU,
and
APU, GPU, whatever. So compute resources. Okay, who can do the computation, who can do the processing. You understand like that? Okay.
Okay.
Fine. So with this, no, any doubt till now on essential characteristics? All clear? These 5 things you will remember?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Fine. So we'll be taking break after some time. We will just cover a couple of things, and then here you can relate it. Now by looking at it, you can relate it because you are already familiar with some of the things here. Do you think this is familiar to you?
Yes, we can make it.
Yeah.
Right, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, Harish.
See, those many words, you can relate it, right? So these all are the benefits, right? So there are many benefits. That's why I kept it like this. I have not kept 1, number 2, number 3 or something. Simply I have thrown it there. So just like how cloud is there, the vast, right, and the beneficial thing. So all those features, these all many are there. So I mean to say, like, no, not only this, there can be many more which I have simply missed out of it, right? So many benefit, it's really beneficial, right? So with all those knowledge that you have gained so far, right, I would like you to take a look at this definition of the cloud computing, which is given by NIST, right? So that is a part of US government, NIST, right? So just please try to take a look on this. What do you, how you can relate?
Okay.
Everyone, please go through it clearly.
Yeah.
Apeksha,
Yeah.
Yes, Harish.
yeah, Urvashi, Ranjita, Sai, everyone there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, Harish.
Okay, perfect. So please, pay some attention to this definition and let me know if you can relate to whatever you have learned so far. This is a conclusion.
Yeah.
Right? So this definition is given by NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, which is part of US government, the US Department of Commerce. They have defined it, and they have been trying to define it for more than 10 years, I would say. So very first definition was given by them, right? And earlier, based on whatever was the situation, they had another word called ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means like omnipresent or something. So that was in the era of normal e-commerce and internet. So now in this cloud era, you just they have removed that word and then they have mentioned like this, right? Convenient, right? And on demand and shared pool of configurable resources. So all those essential features are are visible here, right? And again, you just see like it can be rapidly provisioned. That's why I was focusing on the word provision, deprovision, and all, right? So, and with minimal management effort or service provider interaction, means self-service. There is minimal, right? Service provider interaction. So you can do it self-service. Say like you can use up to some whatever extent, a huge extent you can use, and if you want much more than that as well, then you just go to service provider. They will give you much more than that also. Whatever is there's no limitation for everything. For few things, if there is any limitation, you want like more than that, you just you have the support available, right? So this is the definition here, right? So we'll move. So now comes the data center. So before we discuss about data center, so now I would say like this is one of the key enabling technology, right, for cloud computing. So for cloud computing, there should be some enabling technology, right? So first we discussed about why cloud computing, right? Then we discussed about essential characteristics of cloud computing, and now it's not part of my slide, but I just wanted to address here, right, the enabling technologies, right, the technologies which can enable the cloud, what is there behind, right? So this is one of the key enabling technology. So without so just like here it is looks like a traditional data center or something, some general data center. Now you just think of cloud data center. Okay, just I'll introduce a term like cloud data center. So cloud data center provide scalability and reliability, what is required for cloud computing. So you say cloud data center, not a normal data center. Cloud data center, not an internet data center, right? It's cloud data center. Cloud data center means what? It must be scalable. It must be scalable, right? So it should not be a fixed place where you keep something and then that's it. You can't expand it. So it must be expandable, it must be scalable, and it must be reliable, right? So, and it must be cost effective, right? You should think of some strategy where you locate your data center in some place where, right, it can be cost effective, right? So location is important for data center. So how you are locating it, where you are locating it, right, depends on that, right? So it's trending towards modular data center design nowadays, right? The cloud data center, which is one of the enabling technology, right, for cloud computing. So another enabling technology can be virtualization. So let me discuss a little bit about this data center, but remember that I have to touch upon some other points which are essential, not essential, I would say, like, which are essential for enabling the cloud. What is behind, right? So features we discussed, characteristics we discussed, but what are the actual things? This cloud data center is one, right? So everyone are aware of data center. What is data center? The term data center? Team?
Location of the server.
Location of the server? Yes, this is definitely location of the server. Perfect.
Yeah.
What else?
Center hub of all data.
Who is that? Urvashi?
The storage system, like we store all the, I mean, there used to be the manual on-premise data centers.
Storage system?
I mean, it's kind of a group of a building where, like, I mean, it used to be manually when we used to store
Yeah.
our data out
Yeah.
there. So, yeah.
Correct. That's right. So, Apeksha, you are there?
Yeah, yes, Harish. It's a center hub of all data where we store it. We can access from there.
Yes, makes sense. Sai, you want to try to define, or like, no, you understand? You are familiar of data center, right?
Yeah, Harish, a little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
whatever Apeksha or others have told. So it is a central repository kind.
Correct.
So where all these servers will be placed.
Yeah.
Where different projects will be assigned to a particular location of that.
Perfect. Yeah, it's making sense. So you all understand what is a data center, right? So kind of physical facility, physical environment facility, right? And what is the purpose? Purpose is to house the computer systems, right? You see all these computer systems and all these cables and Ethernet cords and the switches and other devices. So mainly it is a physical environment, physical housing, physical facility, and intended for keeping computer systems and the associated components, whatever associated components with the computer systems. So mainly the computer systems and everything associated with computer systems, right? So you can say like, what are the requirements for data center?
Yeah.
There should be a location, as you told already. There should be, and one of you told about storage, right? So a place where you can locate, as Vikas told, right, where we have our computer, right? So a place where you can locate your computer, where you can locate your storage and your networking devices, correct?
Yeah.
But that place should be safe and secure, because this is all very important for your business, right? So, and apart from this, now these systems have to run, right? So for keeping it alive, you need power, right? So you should have power, the electricity supply, and then you should have backup for the power, right? And then what do you need? Because these things, these systems will generate too much of heat. They will burn. If you don't have AC, it will catch fire and entire DC will burn. Simply it will burn. That much heat it generates. Just think of one computer system, you tell sometime, my laptop is getting heated, right? Just think of these many servers kept together, right? Just adding to each other's heat. So simply they will burn. There is no cooling, right? So completely the temperature will be controlled, right? Whatever is the parameters for these devices, right? All will be taken care, and very robust cooling system will be kept there, right? And you need to connect it to each other, right? All these servers, maybe they need to communicate with each other, or they need to communicate with some other data center outside. So all kind of connectivity, right, are provided here, right? So what you can say, like in a nutshell, it's like a place where you have your computational power, your storage, right, and your network connectivity, everything in a place, right? In fact, like telecommunication devices as well, some kind of fire related things. Say like, what if it catches fire or something? In that case, there should be some kind of arrangement to handle that. So if you talk about cloud data center, it should be scalable, right, reliable, right, and easy to maintain. In fact, like I heard about some data center which is nowadays like 65-story, 65 floors in the data center. Just think. So where we are going. So this is one of the most important technology, right? You say technology, or I would say technology, most important technology which is important for enabling cloud is cloud data center. Next comes is virtualization. You heard about virtualization? Anybody want to try? What is virtualization? Oh, good. We have a slide where we have we don't have the content, and This is something I willingly will find in many places. You will not have content. So I just see here, nothing was there, but we discussed for an hour, right? So
Yeah.
here you don't have a content means you can understand. So if you need a break, you can definitely tell me, right? So we can take a break as well, because this will take some time, because this is something which I want everyone to be clear about, right? Because this is another important key factor which enables cloud, something which is enabling business, or something which is enabling a particular service. We need to focus on that. So if we focus on the key factors which is enabling something, right, we need to be focused, right? So that's why I'm spending some time on giving clarity, right? So what about your understanding of virtualization?
Something from when we transfer data from the hardware to software, like anything we transfer, like when we take any, I don't know.
Okay. So can we
Is
pause?
it?
Yeah, can we
Is it?
pause here if you wish, or we finish this entire topic and then pause? What do you say?
Whatever you say, that's fine.
Because 11:30.
Maybe we'll pause, Harish. I think it will be a big topic.
Okay, perfect.
Virtualization.
Perfect. Yeah, it is going to take some. I need to give you some
15,
theoretical
20
concept.
minutes, I think.
I need to use whiteboard here, right, for explaining
Okay.
and discussing.
Okay.
Right. Let's
Okay.
take a pause. It's better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just keep this screen here. So maybe we'll take a break. I'll put this another screen here, right? So let's take a break here and meet at meet at 40, 50, 55.
11:55.
11:55. Let's be punctual, right?
Yeah.
Let's meet by 11:55.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, Harish.
Okay.
Thank you, Harish.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Harish.
No problem.
So Harish, you can pause the recording for the time being, so that the
Yeah.
class can come back and then can resume. Okay.
Yeah, Devashish, I see here pause share. Let me try to pause it. Let me pause the screen. Okay. Do you see a screen pause that training?
It still says recording. I'm not very sure if it is paused.
No, let me pause the recording. Okay. So I request all of you to open this PDF, right? Certification in Cloud Computing, AWS Solutions Architect Associate, right? So you are familiar with this about early rise. So about the curriculum, okay? So early rise certification training in Cloud Computing AWS Solution Architect Associate is created by industry experts as per the industry requirements and demands, right? The entire AWS training course is in line with the AWS Certified Solution Architect exam. It will help you to prepare for the AWS Certified Solution Architect CSA associate exam. You will be able to effectively demonstrate knowledge in architecture and deployment of secure and robust applications on AWS, right? So these are the course objectives. Please go through it. Upon successful completion of early rise certification training in Cloud Computing AWS Solution Architect Associate, the participants will be able to identify the value and benefit of cloud computing and AWS. So do you think that you can do this? First one?
Yeah, till the cloud computing and
First
AWS
one?
really, yes.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, so that's right. This is important to keep the curriculum open, right? and you can try to relate with whatever are the objectives and whatever are the contents in the curriculum. So these are the objectives: understand methods and tools to maintain security and protect data, explain the financial advantage, right? So in general, you can explain the financial advantage of any cloud, right? Yeah. So now anything with respect to cloud, you will be able to relate, right? The basics of cloud and know what is the benefit and what are the advantages of cloud. So all those things you will be able to relate as of now. However, like we will get in-depth knowledge about AWS, then you will be able to do so for the AWS, right? So navigate the AWS management console that we'll be doing, right? So differentiate between AWS storage options. We have been discussing about, it requires resources, some compute resources, compute term came, you see, networking options, right? Describe the and use AWS database options, deployment and management options, make decisions based on recommended architectural principles and best practices, because if you don't follow the proper design, your operational expenses will be much more than the normal legacy data center expenses, right? So always focus on the best possible design and the best practices. So create a cloud migration roadmap, right? And plan. Use AWS to make infrastructure scalable, right? So now, what are the terms? These terms, wherever you see some terms, right? So you will feel like, okay, fine, you are aware of these terms, right? So you are not new to this technical jargons, right? So create a business continuity plan, right? So what is this business continuity plan? Already Vikas told, right? So this is about BCP, right? While we were discussing the disaster recovery, right? Yeah. So that we will create a BCP and achieve high availability, right? So availability means something which is available, right, at higher rate. So high availability, always available, highly available. So understand the AWS certified solution architect associate exam structures and questions. So this will be towards the end of the session, we will be focusing on, right, the structure and the questions, right, and how to do the certification, right? So module 1, if you look at it, introduction to cloud computing, right? So now you know what is cloud computing, right, all of you?
Yeah.
I need yes from everyone. Apeksha?
Yeah.
Vikas?
Yeah. Yes,
Yep.
yes, Harish.
Yeah, Urvashi, Ranjita?
Yes.
Sai? Sai, you are speaking on mute. Sai, you are there?
Yeah, Harish.
Yeah. So you can you are familiar with this. You are familiar with why cloud computing, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct.
Okay. So benefits
And
of
benefits also.
Cloud computing. What are the benefits? You are aware?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes.
Understand the basic data structure design concepts, right?
Yeah,
And
this
then
one not fully.
okay. So
Oh, data center design. Yeah. That's okay.
Okay. Then comes like public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. So we will take up this particular topic, and then we'll discuss about service models, right, and the cloud virtualization, right? So, so maybe now here or there, I may be touching some other point, first, and then touching some other point later. The sequence may be a little bit different depending on the flow. However, right? So once we finish this, so you just keep in mind that we need to, for this particular module, we are yet to discuss about these features, right? Some different models and all. So cloud virtualization also. So let's discuss about virtualization first. That is very important and basic concept, right? So let's go to our slide. So what is virtualization, benefits of virtualization and all. So what is virtualization and benefits of virtualization. Let's take up two topics first and discuss. So let's go to this whiteboard, and the first question you remember is what is virtualization, right? So what is virtualization? Somebody had used a term like initially when we had started discussing about why moving to cloud and all. So one of you just told that whatever is underlying server, so no, that won't be visible, and we'll have many more servers on top of that, something like that.
Yeah, Harish. I mean, this Vikas here. What I told was, you have one server and you have softwares running on it, you have hardware running on it, and you have
Yes.
just the terminals connected to it.
Yes, correct. So that was something like abstraction. Something like abstraction. So this word is important here. Abstraction. Many of the developers are also aware, right, who do object-oriented programming, right, C++ or Java and so on, right? So they are aware of this abstraction, right? And in fact, this is just a general term, right? Abstraction means hiding something, right?
Yeah.
So this is to give some particular feature, right? So virtualization is essentially abstraction of some physical component into a logical object, right? So some physical components are there which are abstracted to give, right, some logical object. Okay, so here for our case, right, so what we say like virtualization, we can say is ability to abstract a physical server into a virtual machine. So we limit our definition of virtualization based on our need here, right? Because again, if you talk about the word virtual, virtual reality, correct? Virtual tour, right? Virtual means which is not exactly the real, right? But it will look like real only, right? So how, when you are in the world of virtual reality, when you are enjoying a virtual tour or something, so similarly, these applications will be enjoying that virtual reality. So applications will feel like, okay, I'm in somewhere. They are not bothered about the physical components. The VMs, the applications will be running on VMs, right? So simply they will be running with the abstraction of what are the underlying components, what are the underlying objects, right? So what I would say, I'd say like physical server, and I'll say like VM. You all understand VM, right?
Virtualization machine.
Virtual machine. Okay. So what we are talking about is, I'll just use the same word here. Okay. So abstraction. So we can define like ability to abstract a physical server into a virtual server. Ability to abstract a physical server into a virtual machine, right? So what can a VM virtualize? What can a VM virtualize? I'll just try to write down some term and you have to say whether yes or no. So say like, I say processors. Can a VM virtualize processors? Urvashi?
Processors, yeah.
It can be virtualized?
Yep.
Perfect. So now I'd ask Ranjita, right? And the next word would be memory. Can a VM virtualize memory?
Yes. Yes, possible.
Okay.
We can utilize the memory.
It can make a physical memory into a virtual memory.
No.
Who said no? Urvashi?
Yeah.
It can make a physical processor into a virtual processor. Who said yes?
Yeah. Memory. It can. It can. Yeah.
It can virtualize memory.
Virtualize. Yeah.
Okay.
Then what
See,
will-
virtualization is, right, abstracting some physical component into virtual component. Now we are discussing in terms of physical servers. However, what is a physical server? Server is what? It's connect. It's like no combination of its components only, right?
Yeah.
So processor, the main component, memory, the another component, right?
Yeah.
So these components, which are physical in nature, can be abstracted to become virtual, to act like a virtual.
Yes.
Agree, all of you? So memory also can be virtualized, right? Now, let me think of some other thing. Maybe next thing comes to my mind is storage. So can it virtualize storage?
Yeah.
Sai?
Yes.
Sai? Yes, no?
No idea. No idea.
Okay. So it's yes, it can virtualize the storage also.
Yeah.
Because see, until and unless the physical components are virtualized, right? Virtualization cannot happen. Right? So you cannot have a VM.
Yeah.
There must be all these hardware components must become software component, otherwise virtualization connot happen. So say like the next thing would be, I would say network connectivity, I would say. Because
Yes.
perfect. So can be virtualized. So next choice I would give you all of the hardware resources, I would say. Right? So now what you have to do is you have to choose the right answer. Only one right answer. You should not choose all.
Okay.
What is that one?
The fifth one.
So
Everyone agree?
Yeah, all of the hardware
Yeah.
resources.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So all of the hardware resources, right?
Yeah.
So there is something called, you might have heard about hypervisor.
No.
Nobody heard? What
No.
hypervisor?
No.
No.
Earlier, this hypervisor used to be called as virtual machine monitor, VMM. May I, with your permission, clear this space?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. So, there is something called VMM, right? In olden days, people, they used to call this virtual machine, right? Monitor.
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing nowadays. People, because whatever was the initial problem, that has changed now, right? With a lot of additions and a lot of features, right? So now it is so much improved, right? And it is called hypervisor. It is called hypervisor. The same thing is called hypervisor. So this is, just understand that if I write like this, you will understand this is software.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I write n/w, you understand like network, If I write H/W, you understand like hardware. If I write S/W, you understand like software. Okay. So this is a software that provides, right? What? It gives an environment. What it gives?
Environment.
It gives an environment, right? In which, in this environment, what will work?
Virtual machine.
Yes. So hypervisor is a software which gives an environment, right, in which this VM will run, VM will operate.
Yeah.
Just like some basic thing like what can be this hypervisor? Little bit.
Yeah.
What can be like hypervisor? Just basic understanding you got, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So now you just think like, now we talk about about virtualization. So this is something which is giving you a software which will give some environment where VM will run. So that's something which is very basic keyword I'm telling. So now we'll discuss more about it. So virtualization, right, is a technology, right, which allows you to create, right, some useful IT infrastructure, useful IT services using resources that are traditional in nature, right? Whatever hardwares you